So today we're going to be making Scape paste, and I have a sink full of wonderful Scapes. My lovely mother just cooked those off. Food processor, it is ready to go. So just jumping into this, I rinsed the Scapes. I chopped them up just enough so that they will fit into the processor. I found out before if I put them in there whole, they don't really work. It just kind of goes in circles. And so I chopped them up, and we will process them, drizzle a little bit of olive oil, and amazingly, that is our Scape paste. So I'm going to do a little of the blending now. I love this old food processor. Simple, quality, great. And I also really use this on everything. All of my salads, any of my pesto recipes. This is Scape paste. The Healthy Traditions. This is an awesome product. They do the extra glyphosate testing and everything, organic, estate bottled. So very, very happy with this product. Okay. Little example of how it looks right now, the consistency of it. And so I'm going to go a little bit more just to have it more fine and not as big chunks, so that we can use it in a variety of dishes. So just as a personal preference, this would be completely fine to stop right here and use this as your Scape paste, but just as a personal preference. It's perfect. Kind of like minced onion is the consistency that I'm looking for. So that's about where we're at right now. And so with this here, next I'm going to fill these jars. And I've done it two methods. I've done where I put the olive oil right in. So with a bunch like this or a full tub, maybe like a 1/4 cup of olive oil. In this method, I'm just going to put the Scapes in and then drizzle over the olive oil into each individual jar. So I'm going to fill next. I can use a couple of the larger jars as well. So pint and half pint, depending on the crowd you're serving. So I've frozen the Scapes in whole form. So these are the tops of the garlic, and the garlic bulb is the actual main seed, where the bulb you would break apart and we replant each of the individual pieces of garlic. But this here grows right before they're ready for harvest. And as the garlic Scapes, so they're originally straight, and this here can turn into a bunch of little seeds as well, but that's a little bit past due in my opinion. So they will curl, and once they curl at least once, sometimes 2 full rounds is definitely when they are ready to be snipped off and enjoy. We've left the Scapes on, and they will, this part will flower, it will become a big bulb. And that part is, instead of the nutrients going into the bulb of the garlic, a lot of it comes into the flowering portion. So to concentrate the nutrients into the garlic bulb, we cut off the Scapes, and well, it works out really well because we can also enjoy the Scapes as they are. I'm going to drizzle some oil just to cover the top mainly. So probably a tablespoon or 2 In this case, probably a little bit more, closer to 1/4 of a cup. Just to coat what's in there, and mainly the top for freezer protection. I like to make sure everything on the top is coated and a little less exposure to the oxygen. So these I'm going to cap off and label those as they're going to go in the freezer. And so I'm going to get started for the next round. Okay, so next I am give this a little rinse. And I used to cut off all these little flat tips, but since I'm grinding them, it doesn't seem to really make that much of a difference. If I leave them whole and maybe grill them just like this, then this becomes a little burnt and scraggly, so I do trim them here. I leave the bulb part on, but I do trim them, and these are excellent on the grill, sauteed, thrown in just about anywhere you might put garlic or onions. It's a great way to use the Scapes. So I just do a really rough cut on all of these. It's about 2 rounds of this. And my processor will be full again. I generally wrote down the steps, and I said a bunch of Scapes. My mom asked, well, how much is that? I said, I don't know, a handful. So really depending on the size of your processor and what you plan to do, if you want them more coarse or if you want to look coated, all depending, but a bunch to me is kind of a handful. If it's a bunch of like a bunch of celery, you know, is like a handful. My niece, I said, you can take a handful of some candy or treats, and she said, can I take an Elise handful? And so hers is like solid full versus, you know, just a little handful. And it's pretty comical when she says, can I take a Elise handful? So a bunch of Scapes, rough cut. And so a few more rounds of this, and we will have our delicious Scape paste. Stir fries, eggs, just provides a wonderful garlic seasoning flavor. They just are delicious. So excited to have them, happy to make them. Little safety feature in here. Right now it's about that little rougher consistency, and looking for the finer, more like the minced garlic, minced onion. Not to the point that it is like chunky spreadable, not like smooth like pesto might be, not like a sauce, but just kind of a rough topping. And I think these would be excellent on bruschetta, if you were to make bruschetta or bruschetta, to mix those in with the tomatoes. I think these would be a perfect fit for something like that as well. These here, be sure to label. I also do make and freeze pesto. Definitely need to label them because it looks so similar in the freezer between my pesto or nesto if you're to use nettle. But to use the labels or markings just because it's so similar, and I use the same size jars. So not that they would be the end of the world if you confused them and grabbed nesto or pesto instead of Scapes, but usually it's adding into those specific dishes that you want to add that little garlic intensity or flavor. So Always great to label. And this here, I think it is ready for another round. Keep having a pint and a half pint. So we got the 16 ounces here. And about 2 cups, and about 1 cup and a half pint for 8 ounces. Just as a rough estimate, to kind of know the quantity that you're working with. This could use a little bit more. I'll leave that for the next round, top that off. And this one here, just do a fun coating. Seal it off as I put it in the freezer. Oh, those look beautiful. Nice thing about Scapes compared to the pesto are these don't brown, where when I work with the pesto I have to be a lot faster because the basil browns so quickly. And all set with this, gonna carry on and rough cut some more, save a few of them, probably, definitely not a bunch or a handful for my neighbor, but she definitely wants to try a few of these, so I'll set aside a few for her and prep the rest of them, save a few for fresh eating, and we'll be good to go. Another beautiful garlic scape season, and hope you enjoyed my details and process as I make garlic scape paste. Take care.